Hi, welcome to Beginning Guitar with Stubby the Old Guy. I'm the old guy. It's beginning guitar because my assumption is you have a guitar, you have a book, maybe you have a teacher, hopefully a good one. Maybe you have friends you can play with, but you're still in the beginning situation where you're still learning chords in that first position. If you're an advanced guitarist, I'm probably watching you. So again, it's beginner. This is not a course or a series in learning specific songs. It's not a course or a series in understanding music theory or chord theory, both which are great subjects and deeper than yours truly is going to go. What it is a course in pattern recognition. What it is trying to harvest the knowledge you have in the first position and putting it somewhere else. The same fingering up and down the fretboard giving you different sounds, different chords, different keys even, but the same fingering. In lesson 1, we looked at this using the piano. We looked at C major chord. We looked at how the piano, because it's so linear in its layout, you can see the fact that the same fingering yields these different results. Same thing's true on the fretboard. In lesson 2, we looked at the same concept using the D major chord. Different sounds using the same fingering. In lesson 3, we're going to look at the F major chord in the same fashion. So to begin, let's just look at the F chord. Now, a couple disclaimers. Right now, this one. I may not finger things the same way the book shows or the same way your teacher shows or the same way you want to do it. In the end, what matters is how you need to do it to make it work. I'm stubby because my fingers are such. I'm the old guy for obvious reasons. Let's look at the F chord. I use the index finger to cover 2 strings, first and second string at the first fret. I use the middle finger to nail the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, and I use the ring finger to get the 4th string at the 3rd fret. Now, really, that's classic. I really do it this way. I pull the pinky in as a substitute for that ring finger on the 4th string at the 3rd fret, and I pull the ring finger then to the 5th string at the 3rd fret. I get a fuller sound. So that's the way I play the F chord. Now, I simply move this finger off. I hammer on and off and I get a sound. If I move up, works all the way up and down the neck. Now, how do I know what chord this is? Well, I can consult the book of 4,400 chords. I truly have one. I'm sure you can find such online. And sometimes I go there because I really want to know what chord is at its defined terminology. But mostly I use Stubby's simplistic approach. What I need to know a chord for is so I can write it down so somebody else can understand what I want to do and what I want them to do with the bass or the lead guitar or whatever. So I do a comparison. So that's an F, we know that. What does this sound like? Not E, not A, but what does it sound like? It's G. Oh my God, it's a G. Now, my approach is going to sometimes actually be that, or it's going to be a derivative. It's going to sound like a G. And so really, my simplistic approach is it sounds like, not it is. What does this sound like? So it's an A. So what I'm doing in the opening song is I'm taking that basic chord, but I'm not using those notes. I'm just using the top 3 strings. That's all the same F pattern, but I conclude my sequence using the D pattern we looked at last segment. F, 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 F pattern. It's really an A, right? F pattern, G, F pattern, a D, D pattern. Well, what are these? We know that from lesson 2. That's a G. What's this? What does it sound like? C, so that's a C. What does this sound like? So that's a D. D, C, G. A, G, D. So play around. This is a process of discovery. That's how I learned this stuff. Play around. Find the sounds first. Find, write a song if that's what you like to do. Whatever. But eventually you're going to probably want to name them, and that's the process you can use. Or you can go to the book and get them right. Or you can take a music education course and you'll be much better at it than I am. Lots of options. Now, on the screen you're going to see the chart describing some of what we just showed. You're going to see the chords are labeled, and hopefully you see the chords are labeled with quotations if it sounds like, but maybe it necessarily isn't. With F, it pretty much is what it sounds like. You're going to see some information about what you can get when you hammer on and off. It talks about just leaving that off. And if I slide it up, if I take and move those over, I can get it something. All built on the F pattern. And also you're going to see on that some of the 2-finger additions we put on these charts so that you can have something to play with another player in the room. Easy to fill. Okay. Have fun with that. Now, in closing, I want to hit something that is important, I think. Old wise one, before I was such, said to me, focus is something at the expense of something else. And I think that's true. Multitasking is a myth, even though I was accused of being good at it once. I think it's a myth. Focus is something at the expense of something else. Why do I bring it up? We're focusing on the left hand. We're not focusing on what this right hand's doing. Not that it's unimportant, it's certainly not. But focus is something. We're focusing on the chording and the pattern recognition. Eventually, you're going to want to be able to do different kind of picking, whether it's using a pick, your fingers, a finger pick. Right now, this is what we're talking about. Okay, so I'd say strum it any way you need to strum it so you can hear the effect of the results of what you're doing with the left hand. Now, I'm a songwriter, and there's lots of ways to play these chords, and the way they should be played should be chosen based on the song content. So I'm going to close with a song called At the End of the Day, and it really uses a bar chord, and we're not going to look at bar chords until lessons 5 and 6. But it's going to use a bar chord, but then I drop back to this first position F to hammer on for an intent. I want the energy to drop. I want to set up the content differently. So I think that's important too. Focus on something at the expense of something else. So until next time, happy trials, happy trails. Keep working at it. So drop us a line when you ask for the chart, and we'll see you next time. Adios, music makers. Up with the sun, then I run to where I got to be. It's the cost of living free. Like an independent wealth, working for the man, maybe for myself, sometimes down on my knees.